to this special interview series on nourishing knowledge, the power of food as medicine. I'm Wanda Malhotra, lifestyle journalist and CEO of Crunchy Mama Box, a platform promoting conscious living. Today's interview is part of a power collaboration with Authority Magazine, a Medium publication that delves deep into topics that truly matter. Today, we will have the pleasure of speaking with Dr. Deb Kennedy, a PhD nutritionist, chef, author of multiple books, including the Culinary Medicine textbook, and a leading figure in the food as medicine movement. With a background in nutritional biochemistry medicine from Tufts University, she has held key roles at prestigious institutions such as Tufts Human Nutrition Research Center for Aging, Yale's Prevention Research Center, and Cornell University. Her latest endeavor, the Food Coach Academy, offers a science-based modular training format, empowering individuals with skills to leverage food for transformative health. This video is a special follow-up to the written interview previously published. For a deeper dive into the complete conversation, follow my column to read the full interview. Now, join us for an exclusive interview with Dr. Deb Kennedy. Hi, Dr. Kennedy. Thank you so much for doing this with us.
Oh, thank you, Wanda. I really enjoy being here talking about a subject I absolutely love.
Thank you. So, for our first question, can you elaborate on the concept of a food coach and how it differs from traditional nutrition counseling? How can individuals benefit from having a food coach in their wellness journey?
Yeah, so nutrition counseling is completely different than what a food coach would do. And it's a question I get a lot, especially from nutritionists, because when an individual has either a diagnosis or they just want to have some prevention counseling done because they want to remain healthy, they're told usually to do certain things about their diet. That's eat healthier forms of fat or low fat, more vegetables, less salt, rah, rah, rah. We've all heard it again and again, and people turn off. But what ends up happening is that, especially when clinicians tell their patients, your weight's not good, you need to lose weight, you need to eat more healthy food, the patient leaves not knowing what that means they need to do in the kitchen and at the store. So what are they supposed to buy? And we saw this when we went to a low-fat diet a couple of decades ago, where people ran and they got hyper-processed, refined 100-calorie cookie packs. Do you remember those? Right? And they ate a ton of those. And what we saw was that the incidence of heart disease even went higher because it wasn't just about the fat, it was about the refined grains as well. But people are just trying to do the best they can with the knowledge they have and the amount of energy they have and money, right? So when you ask someone to change their diet and you don't teach them how to shop and you don't teach them how to cook, you're setting them up for failure. And then they go back into the doctor's office and they haven't made the changes. And, having built a weight and wellness center, that's really traumatic. By the time people come to see us, they've had X amount of what they consider failures. And it's really heartbreaking. So, having followed the field of medicine for 25, 30 years now, I really see what's working, what's not working, and there's a lot that's not working, and what's missing. And what's missing is this type of a coach. So it's like a health coach ran into a chef, right? And they became one. And this would be what a food coach is. So the food coach is trained in a certain kind of interviewing method called motivational interviewing, because it puts the client as the expert in their own lives, which they are. So food coach is different than a nutritionist. It's different than a health coach. It's a specific form of coaching.
Wow, incredible. The Food Coach Academy emphasizes science-based modular training. Could you provide examples of specific modules and how they can empower individuals with expertise needed to utilize food for transforming health?
Yes. So I can say, and I do this a lot when I'm in front of a group of people, I'll ask them how many decisions they think they make every day about food. And they'll guess maybe 10, maybe some will guess 20, but no one guesses 220 food decisions a day, right? It's too much. And when you look at the dietary guidelines, there's over 150 of them. And again, it's too much at one time. We in the nutrition world are not for lack of information. There's great sources of nutrition information. What is lacking, however, is how to deliver that information so that the patient, the client, the person, the individual, the community can be successful in eating healthfully. So I took all of those recommendations, knowing that individuals made over 200 food decisions a day. And I looked and I spent 15 years studying this. How do people learn and how do they make behavioral changes? And they do it in discrete elements. So it's easiest if you can think about a kid going to school. They're going to learn about spelling, ding, the bell goes. Now they're learning about math, ding, the bell goes, right? And every year it goes up in the level of instruction. But if I said to the kid, you're going to learn spelling, math, social studies all at once in one class, they wouldn't be successful. So I took all those recommendations and I broke them into 10 food modules. So fruit is a whole different course. It's a different course. It's like spelling. And then we have vegetables, we have grains, fats and oils, dairy and alternatives, beverages, animal protein, plant protein, sugar, and sodium. And all I'm asking you to do is focus on one of those topics. I don't care how long it takes you. It took you a long time to get to where you are. Take as much time as you need to be successful. I'm going to ask you to make one change at a time. So I created this program called Build Healthy Kids, and I went into 2 school districts, one in Connecticut and one in New Hampshire. And all I did was I sent home a newsletter that said, this month, parents and kids, we're just going to look at your fruit intake. That's it. Don't worry about anything else. So it de-escalates them. They're like, I can do one thing. And then they start to be successful. So during that month, they're going to start eating fruit. And I've taken kids from being afraid of fruit to eating 2 fruit within a month. And then you're like, great. All right, now's time for a different module. What would you like to focus on next? Do you want to focus on grains? Do you want to focus on beverages? And we do the same again and again. And what was shown in these school districts was that both the parent and the kids were learned a lot and their behavior changed. And for some of the kids, their BMI improved. So it was very successful. And so that's what a modular approach to both learning and teaching people how to change is all about.
That's a fantastic program, Dr. Kennedy. I love the modules, how you organize and how you simplified the nutrition aspect of things, because a lot of parents, a lot of people, they don't really know what to do. They feel so lost. That's fantastic.
I mean, it doesn't take a rocket. It's simple. I always say you don't have to be a rocket scientist to be a nutritionist, but sometimes you feel like you do.
It can get complicated if you don't really have the guidance that you are providing with your academy.
Yes.
So, given your background as both a nutritionist and a chef, how do you approach creating culinary competencies that bridge the gap between nutritional guidelines and practical cooking skills? How does this approach enhance the effectiveness of dietary recommendations?
Right. So that was a 3-year process. It took reviewing about 3,000 scientific articles. It took pulling together about 40 nutrition scientists from Europe, Canada, and the US. And it included a dozen chefs. So together as a group, we created the Culinary Medicine textbook, which is the foundation for the Food Coach Academy. And so the scientists, so one part of my brain was like, okay, science, this is what we need to do. This is what the recommendations say. And we were solid on that. And then we booted over to the chefs. Chefs, if someone needs to eat more fruit, and a lot of people don't eat enough fruit, I don't understand. It's so delicious, but very few eat enough fruit. And so let's just take that as an example. What is it they need to learn to do in the kitchen in order for them to follow those nutrition guidelines? Because that's what a food coach helps you do, follow the guidelines. They don't come up with the guidelines, they follow the guidelines. So we're going to teach you how to use a paring knife. We're going to teach you how to poach fruit. And if you've never had a poached pear, you don't know what you're missing. We're going to teach you how to add different flavors so that when you're eating like a fruit salad, and you add an acid ingredient to it like lemon rind or lemon juice, it bolts you to the next level in taste and flavor. And we have these now what are called culinary competencies. This this is what you need to learn to do in the kitchen in order to meet those guidelines. It's as simple as that.
Excellent. In your experience, what common challenges do people face when trying to adopt healthier eating habits? And how does the Food Coach Academy address these challenges?
Right. So there's several things that food coaches do to help people eat a healthier diet, because that was your question, right? Whether it's to lose weight or to prevent diabetes or to help them if they do have diabetes. What the Food Coach Academy does is several things. It meets people where they're at. So are you living in a food desert? How much money do you actually have to spend on food? What's your cultural heritage? And we're going to start with finding out what your palate is. Are you a super taster? Are you a thermal taster, a sugar liker, a fat liker? We're going to figure out what it is you like, and we're going to train you to train your taste buds to like and prefer the flavor of healthy food. And we do that, and again, in a modular approach. So we're not going to tell you what diet to follow, but we're going to be your number one cheerleader and taking the journey along with you. And we're there to help you translate and to encourage you and to help you break down, I want to change my diet, into dozens and dozens and dozens of steps so that you can walk down the road towards health. I always say choosing health is a choice every day, those 220 times a day. You can choose to walk towards health with your decisions or away from health. So it's not about perfection either. It's about getting you on that path and helping you to make the majority of your decisions healthy ones. So it really is about honoring where a person's at and helping them to get to where they want to go.
That's a very individual approach. I love it.
Yeah,
Very.
because I mean, it really is, every person is different. I myself have struggled with cancer 3 times. And when people with maybe my same diagnosis, like breast cancer, want to know what I did, I'm like, it's not about what I did. You could put 10 people with breast cancer in a room. There's 10 different solutions there. You have to go deep within. And that was the hardest and the most incredible journey of my life, was getting out of my head and going into my heart to figure out what was it I needed to do for myself. And that is my calling, to help people make that journey so they can choose for themselves. It has to be individual because we're each individual people.
So true. So
Yeah.
true, Dr. Kennedy. So, the Biden Harris National Strategy on Hunger, Nutrition, and Health has put a spotlight on food as medicine. How do you see the Food Coach Academy contributing to the broader efforts in increasing access to affordable, healthy food and empowering individuals to take control of their health?
Yes. So I've been following the Biden Harris Hunger Act, and I applaud it. And it always starts with getting access to healthy food, right? But it doesn't end there. If all you did was deliver medically tailored meals to someone with diabetes, you have helped them in the short term, and you have not taught them how to stand on their own. You have made them dependent on you, the healthcare system. And that's not what's needed to solve health in the world. It really isn't. And in the food is medicine movement, what I'm seeing happening now is those types of approaches. But culinary medicine needs to be the foundation, one above. You have access to healthy food. And the second one is we've got to teach you how to cook it again, so that when you are given rice and beans from a food pantry. I was talking to my brother just the other day, and he works in Brunswick, Georgia, and the food pantry was handing to teenage kids a bag of beans, those dried legumes, and a bag of white rice. What the heck are they supposed to do with it? He got yelled at by the coach. Like, what are you giving my players? What are they supposed to do with this? Right? So unless you teach them how to work within their own environment and teach them how to cook the food that they have available to them, you are just making them more and more dependent. And that's no, we all are born with this right to good food and our health. And in order to encourage that, I really believe, working for almost 40 years, we've got to give people their dignity back. We need to give them the power back. And a lot happens at the kitchen table. Yes, we're teaching you how to cook, but oh my gosh, that's where people come together and really connect. And I always say food is about connection. It's about connecting to yourself with what you choose to eat. It's about connecting with other people around a table. And in your food decisions, it's about connecting to the planet. How do you want to leave this planet based on your food choices? So I see the Food Coach Academy as being an integral part of the food is medicine movement. It's getting a little too medical right now. We need to get it back to the food part, and then we'll find a balance. And I hope to help the administration do just that.
That's incredible. Education is key. I totally agree with you. And the connection that you can make through food,
Mm.
cooking together, learning together as a family, as friends, it's just beautiful. I love the
It is
project.
beautiful. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Wow. Thank you for sharing your valuable insights and expertise with us, Dr. Kennedy. We wish you only continued success on your great work.
Thank you so much. Thanks for this opportunity. Eat well.